Yo. We are ill-advised wise guys.
Check out the full podcast, link below.
Yo. We are the ill-advised wise guys. It's your boy Jack. I got my boy
QDZ for Sheezy. It's way too easy, and I'm back in the hizzy. Yeah, I had PTO last episode.
I told you about using that. That was unpaid leave. Shout out to Kristen Ayana though, who pulled up on our last episode.
That episode was fire.
No, she's cool.
Seems super dope. Definitely hope we together can kick your ass next time.
Yeah, listen, if you guys want to go check out our last episode, make sure to go do that. Nonetheless, thank you guys for pulling up on us. If you're new here, stay a while. If you've been here before, stay even longer. Ooh. This is the Ill-Advised Wise Guys podcast. Once again, my name is Uche. This is QD. Make sure you follow us on social media. It'll be right there on the screen. Also, it'll be in the description. Guys,
I'm back.
Let's do some church announcements. First and foremost, guys, if you want to check out clips, best takes, worst takes, top segments, top conversations, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys go to our YouTube channel. We have a playlist dedicated to our YouTube clips. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, they're fire. Every single topic that we've put out, even if it got 2 views, the early ones were you getting 2 views, bro. We were fire content.
It was.
Now,
it's always been fire content.
Now we getting our views up a little bit. So this is dope. Shout out to everybody who's been engaging with us. But nonetheless, if you're somebody who does not like to watch full length episodes, you guys make sure to check out those 5 to 10 minute bits of pieces of content that we put out on YouTube. Make sure you go to our link tree. It's in there. Also, we have a playlist called Zero Skips. As always, if you're an indie artist and you put out music that the world doesn't know about just yet, get in contact with us because our playlist is really going up. I think we're damn near at 100 and 20 followers, which I think is dope.
And none of them are bots.
All real people. No AI driven individuals.
All real.
Get over there. Make sure you guys to check out our playlist. I promise you won't be upset. I'm gonna be real with you. We got all bangers up there. Shout out to all the artists that made the playlist and the ones who are going to make the playlist in the future. Q, what you got?
Check out ratingsgamemusic.com, aka RGM, aka the best music site in the world, according to FeedSpot, one of the 100 best music sites in the world. Go ahead and look it up. It's on FeedSpot. We got album reviews for Fast and Furious 10. They're on the 10th.
There's a soundtrack?
God. Yeah, they have a soundtrack. We did a review for K-Tramine, Amine and K-Tranada. Self-titled album, pretty good.
2 dope artists.
2 very dope artists. You should definitely check it out. I thought the album was good. And then we did a review for Belly. Belly dropped Mumble Rap 2 with Hit Boy. Hit Boy produced all the songs. That was a good album. And then the song reviews we did, America's Got a Problem, Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar. America's Got a Problem remix. Then I wanted to also say we got a surprise coming for Ratings Game Music. You don't even know about this surprise, actually.
Okay.
I'm working on it. Ratings Game Movies? We'll see. That's Ratings Game Music. Go check it out. RatingsGameMusic.com, man. Check it out, man. It's Soulja Boy, man. Check it out. Check it out right there, man. All right.
On to the topics.
Okay.
Is drill music dead? Ooh. Drill. We all know about drill music. We ain't talking about the original form, which is Chicago driven. We're not talking about UK drill. We talking about this newer wave that was, I think, more heavily inspired by, the resurgence of the Pop Smokes, the Bronx drill, the sample driven.
So New York drill.
New York drill.
Mainly New York drill.
Is drill on life support? I have some things to say, and I really think that, there's some interesting things that have been happening in the news. Rappers been getting in trouble. Maybe that has an effect on things. We're gonna talk about it because I do think it needs to be discussed. After that, we're gonna talk about is being of the industry overrated. We always hear about artists like let's say, for example, NBA YoungBoy. There's a lot of dudes who are clearly of the mainstream music cycle, but they give off a very independent energy. They talk a lot about, man, I don't hang out with these industry people. Mm-hmm. They try to give off this persona that they are independent when in fact they're not. I mean, they're
moving like a mainstream artist anyway.
Moving like a mainstream. So the question really is like, yo, why is it so, I think, to some artists' benefit to give off the impression that they are not of the industry?
I agree.
I think that's really what it comes down to.
Question.
But first, we got to talk about Ja Morant, but more in particularly, is street culture hurting hip hop? Probably more than ever at this point. It's street rap, whatever you want to call it, hip hop culture. People conflate a lot of these words. They use them as synonyms. They say black culture. A lot of this stuff gets put in one big pot of gumbo, and we try to like act like they're all the same, but they're not in reality. To me, black culture is not street culture. Street culture is not rap culture. They're all kind of different. Yes, do they bite off of each other? Do they have some, commonalities here and there? Sure, of course. But the reason why I try to make that distinction is because has Ja Morant, can we curse him out? I'm sorry. Like, why? You know what what's been pissing me off, man? I'm gonna be honest with you. I gotta start this out.
Okay.
This shit been pissing me off. All the people in the media, the sports media, who've been talking about, and Jazzy, he's a kid. He's a 22. He's a 23-year-old, man. If you're 23, of course, why wouldn't you make a mistake? It's like, can we stop making excuses for guys? Like, yo, what world do we live in where somebody who's a multi-million-dollar individual corporation who represents billion-dollar industries and companies, when do we call those people kids? At a certain point, don't you have a responsibility? I'm not going to go all the way in because I want to kick this to you. But, I mean, at the end of the day, do you think that street culture has infiltrated hip-hop a little bit too much and is starting to spill over into all of the different, whether it's athletes, rappers, actors, who all want to portray the street culture, if you will?
Well, one thing that I really love about the snitch conversation, which is a big conversation in street culture, right, is when you're talking to somebody who says they're from the streets, that abide by snitching, like anti-snitching or whatever, however you want to say it. A lot of times they say, if you're not living that way, these rules don't apply to you. But if you're in the streets, you cannot snitch. If you're in the streets, like I believe Face, on our IG, he said that. He said, yo, like civilians can get away with snitching and relying on police and stuff like that. But if you say you're from the streets, you're not relying on police to solve anything, right? So what that tells me is street culture is at least reasonable. It is at least understanding. It's not like we are completely like ruleless, like we're just coming up with rules out the fly. But, in terms of hip hop culture, what I also love that's going on right now is how much people are denouncing it. Like people who are from the streets that are denouncing it. Yeah, every once in a while, I mean, it's funny. It might be an insult. You might hear somebody say, yeah, man, you ain't from the hood. It's considered an insult to some people. You're like, yes, I am from the hood, right?
Yeah.
But there is this push to let people know, like, it's not tight to be from the hood. It's not tight to be from the streets. It's not tight to live that life. And even in music, if you listen to music today, people are talking about getting out of the streets in the music. People are talking about getting it out of the mud. People are talking about bettering their life. Like, so there is a push in hip hop today to get out of that. But, at the end of the day, what's never going to go away is somebody testing your gangster. That's never going to go away. That's been going on since the 60s and 50s. That man has been going on since before Christ. Yeah, it's been going 60s. On forever. Somebody testing your gangster.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you're somebody like a Ja Morant, where they look at you and they just automatically assume you're a basketball player. You're not from the streets. You're a basketball player. You're not hard. A lot of times you're tempted to prove you are. You're pushed to a corner And it's like, I'm going to react. Now, it's funny. I was actually on the side of, John Morant's dumb for this and he needs to smarten up. I'm not as hard on that stance as I used to be. So at the end of the day, we don't know who John Morant is. This whole notion that a lot of people saying, oh, John Morant grew up in a family household. He has both his parents. He grew up with both his parents and, he went to a really good school. The streets is something that a lot of people choose. We can't just automatically assume the only way you're from the streets is you were born in the streets. No, there's some people that literally choose to be in the streets. There's some people that can be leaving their mansion after school or going out to school, coming home, and then leaving a mansion and going to hang out with people in the streets. The streets is something that people choose. And I think with John Morant, I think the narrative has to change. If he chose to be a street dude, that's what he chose. Like, I think we need to stop trying to assume he's not street because you don't think he came from that. So with that being said, I said I knew he was going to get in trouble after that first instance because I said, for him to get it, it has to no longer be cool to him. You know what I'm saying? Like being in the streets, like a lot of these rappers been in the streets their whole life. It's no longer cool. They've been in the streets and they've been doing street stuff their whole life. The moment John Morant says, this ain't cool no more, that's when he's going to stop. And I don't think I still think he thinks it's cool.
I mean, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. For sure. I see what you're saying. And yeah, listen, I totally agree on a few things you said. Not everything, but a few things. Number one, I don't like when people try to assume somebody's not street because they grew up a certain type of way.
Yeah.
People, not everybody. I don't agree that you choose the streets. I think that there's people who are in underprivileged circumstances that get more heavily pressured into living a certain type of way based on their conditions. A lot of the times we can act like them people have a choice. And yes, if we want to individualize, sure, everybody has a choice technically, but a lot of people, it's harder as opposed to somebody who wasn't, who didn't grow up in a quote unquote street lifestyle. They had to go out of their way to live that type of lifestyle. So I think that's what people are getting at when they get at Ja. It's like they're assuming he didn't grow up street or in the hood or whatever you want to call it. And so he's going out of his way, which I think is idiotic to most people, and including me. When you really get into it, here's the thing. Here's what we're not touching on just yet. We're not talking about, okay, somebody chose this lifestyle, great. If that's what they want to do, great. Well, what about the contract? What about the obligations that he has as a professional athlete to not live like that? What about that part? Because isn't that the real meat of the discussion?
The thing
as to why this is such an idiotic.
Well, the thing is,
string of events from this dude.
The thing that's so funny, and this actually ties back to hip hop too, is just don't put it on camera. Like majority of the stuff you doing, we won't know if you didn't put it on camera.
Yo, that's this era. That's this generation.
Like, if you didn't put that thing on camera, like you can be streets. Do you know how many people I for some reason I went on a rabbit hole about Javaris Crittenton. Remember him?
Of course.
Who used to play for the Wizards.
Of course.
Who went to jail.
He was a Crip.
He was a Crip. I had no clue.
Yeah, he was.
And they were like he chose, like he just got involved in it, right? But you wouldn't know. There was no social media like that. You would not know, right?
Didn't he die?
No, he went to jail. He came out. He killed somebody.
That's what it was.
Right?
Okay, that's what it was. Yes.
With John Morant, at the end of the day, you can do all that stuff that you're doing, right? But when you put it on camera, that's a whole nother story. And then on top of that, what's crazy to me is that he wasn't at an NBA facility when he did that. Now, the first one, he was on a plane. That was, I believe, the NBA got him. They try to say that he had to, if he carried the gun on the plane, that was a.
Well, that was.
I don't think he got a. It didn't. That wasn't the case.
That was the first incident in Denver.
He was in a strip club or whatever.
That was the first incident.
And so, I don't want to be that person, but like, it's not fair because there's a lot of gun lovers in America that flaunt their gun a lot, right? There's politicians that flaunt their guns a lot, right?
Sure.
So he did that, and he didn't do it in NBA facilities. He didn't do it on damn court. He did it in his own personal life. It's his personal
I'm not
life
rolling.
decisions. No, listen, I'm not rolling. I personally don't think it's a good idea.
I'm not rolling.
I personally don't believe it's a good, hold on. I personally don't believe it's a good idea. Personally, don't think it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
You are a role model. Whether you like it or not, you are a role model to a bunch of little kids.
Charles Barkley
You
said
shouldn't wanna
NBA
do
players
that.
ain't role models.
Yeah. That's something you don't choose. That's something you don't choose. Like, if somebody likes you, you are a role model by default.
Yo, I don't. Yes, I agree.
So you can't choose it.
Nobody chooses to be a role model. You actually just are one.
You just
now
are.
it's just a matter of, do you want to be a good one or a bad one?
I mean,
That's what it comes down to.
But at the end of the day, guess what? Role models are themselves. The reason why kids love Ja Morant, Ja Morant is probably NBA's most important marketing figure right now. You know why people like him? Because he's unapologetically himself, right? He has the colorful braids. He flies. He does whatever he wants on the court. He has the swagger. He dances. People like his swag because that's who he is. Well, he also apparently likes to take videos with guns. Or that's who he's portraying himself to be. I don't know if he wants to be like that. But
Yeah, I just feel like, listen, there's two conversations here. One is, hey, this guy is an individual. He's going to move how he wants to move. He's going to make his own decisions. It is what it is. I have nothing to do with it. That's one conversation. If we take that stance, I have nothing to add.
But we have to.
But to me, look. Here's what I think. This is what
I got a problem.
This is what I personally feel. The people who refuse to, I would say, kind of condemn him and what he's doing, you're not acknowledging the responsibility that exists in what he's doing. And to just simply call it idiotic, call it dumb, call it this guy is moving irresponsibly. It's not ridiculous to say.
No, it's not ridiculous at all. I know.
We got to start. We have to say
that page.
We have to
I
say
am on
that.
the page. Dude, if you ask me, I think he should be suspended a year. If you ask me.
That's too
No,
much.
you know
I'm not
why?
going that far.
Because I'm like, you got to make an example, number one. Number two, he pretty much betrayed the commissioner, right? But that's just me. To me, betrayal is like one of the biggest pet peeves for me. If somebody betrays me, like, I take that very seriously. But anyway, whatever. But here's my question to you, right? Let's flip this. The reason why Ja Morant, this thing is so egregious to people, is because NBA is a family-friendly business where a lot of kids are watching. A lot of kids are buying the jerseys. It is a family-friendly business. We don't want to portray that our best players are holding guns. In music, and in hip-hop, do you know what NBA YoungBoy holding a gun does for business in the hip-hop business? It elevates his business.
Of course it does.
It confirms his so-called gangster.
It's imagery.
So
it's marketing, actually.
Let me ask hip-hop business people and hip-hop consumers, what does that say about what people think, the business people think about hip-hop? It's kind of with the combo we had about weed and drugs and stuff, how I told you about, hip-hop, y'all just want to promote illegal drugs. Yo. You guys are okay with Lil Uzi. Hip-hop business people are clearing songs that have to do with Xanax, has to do with cocaine. God. They're clearing it. They're actually okay with marketing that.
Yo, look.
NBA is doing everything they can to clean up their image. Why isn't hip hop doing everything they can to clean up their image?
Okay, I'll try to say this as
this business side.
I'll try to say this as simply as I can. Number one, guns and violence is not a motivator, or it's not something that allows the NBA or mad industries. I'm talking about a lot of industries do not excel off of violence and guns. That's not part of the narrative. It's not part of the the factors that go into having a successful business or a successful industry with violence and guns. That's not something that is. So, of course, NBA, who has advertisers that are more family friendly, they're going to stray away from that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Whereas the music industry, specifically hip hop, is the complete opposite.
But that's not okay.
You
know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying you are.
By the way, I want to go back though. I want to go back because I'm going to make it very clear. This is not about the fact, in my opinion, I don't think this is about the fact that Ja Morant had guns. It's not. Guns are not illegal in this country. Bro, everybody has a gun in Memphis. It's not the fact that he had a gun. We got to stop that narrative. That's not true.
Okay.
You know why I say that? There's been plenty of pictures with Draymond Green, other NBA players who have taken pictures with guns throughout the years. I didn't know any of this, but it came up as I was doing more research. It's not the fact that he has a gun. It's how reckless and how he's brandishing the gun on camera.
But let's be real.
That's the if he had the gun on his hip, nobody's saying a word.
Here's the thing.
I promise you.
While embracing hip hop culture,
And it furthers
it would have
correct.
hit differently if NBA YoungBoy wasn't playing in the background.
Why was he? Yo,
It
NBA
would have
YoungBoy
hit
was
differently
playing both times.
So you mean to tell me when hip hop culture is involved, the minute hip hop culture is involved, people are offended? That's a question.
Yes.
Okay.
White people and people. I don't even want to put it on white people. I would just call it mainstream.
Business.
Mainstream
When
business.
hip hop is involved.
When hip hop is involved.
Isn't that crazy?
Mainstream. And I want to be very clear because this topic is about, is street culture hurting hip hop? But really, it should be a street culture hurting the community. Because I don't think people are threatened by hip hop. They're threatened by street.
At the end of the
They're
day,
threatened by street rap. The rappers who are more aggressive and dude, nobody cares about J. Cole. Nobody is threatened by J. Cole, I should say, from a violent standpoint. You know why? Because that's not really his message. That's not what he pushes. If Kendrick Lamar is out here, nobody's threatened by Kendrick from a violent standpoint. There's other people who they're not threatened. It's not hip hop.
So can I ask you
the narrative that some of these street
But-
rappers are pushing? That's what's not good for business.
But can I ask you this? Do you think if the roles were reversed, let's say it was Austin Reeves, right, was brandishing a weapon while listening to Morgan Wallen, like, do you think that he gets the same reaction? Listen, I'm not even trying to troll. I'm not trying to play the race card or anything like that. I'm just like, do you think that hip hop is the issue here? You know what I mean?
Do I think it gets the same reaction as Ja?
Do you think hip hop is the common denominator, like the hip hop culture? Because like hip hop, at the end of the day, guess what street gets labeled as? Thug. Like hip hop, brandishing a weapon, braids, dreads, whatever, thug. That's the common word used, right?
Yeah.
So is hip hop playing into making people assume somebody's a thug?
Yeah, I think
Shouldn't.
listen, I think that black rappers a lot of times perpetuate our own stereotypes. That's what it comes down to. You know, when it comes to, like, we talked about this even before when 21 Savage was complaining to fans online, talking about, yo, y'all are not gonna buy my records if I start talking about stuff that's positive. That mentality,
It's crazy.
he knowingly is perpetuating negative imagery of what rappers / black people
But
do
you know,
to further his pockets, to further the industry. When people are knowingly making that decision, we are complicit. He knows that this is something that he has to do.
He's got to do what he's got to do. Is essentially, he's one person,
But he's part of a system.
The problem is the system.
He's
the
part of a
problem
system.
is the business. The problem is actually the industry. People green lighting certain things. But
Listen, guys, you tell us, man. Listen, should Ja Morant be suspended? Should he be suspended for a whole season?
Is hip
half
hop
the season? Is hip hop the reason for all this?
Is hip hop doing him in?
If this was a white person, to Q's point, who did the exact same thing, would it get the same reaction?
With country music.
They got to be a star like Ja, though. Let's move on to the next topic. Is being of the industry overrated?
Ooh,
Q, I know you. I believe you came up with this
Hop in the
topic.
whip. Oh.
Tell me where you were going with this topic.
you know, as of late, I hear a lot of people bragging about how, you know, they don't mess with industry folks. Like, NBA YoungBoy is probably the most popular person that does that and says that, but I've heard Logic say it. I've heard, people like Cole say it. And, it sounds cool, but how actually accurate, number one, is that statement when people say that? And then number two, is that actually detrimental to your growth, right? So NBA YoungBoy right now, arguably the hottest rapper in the game right now. Like, I thought it was actually pretty amazing. He just randomly dropped an album called Rich as Op. He announced it a week before it released. And it still moved about 51,000 units, which is amazing. In my head, I'm like, yo, he's definitely one of the biggest artists in the game right now. And the biggest artist in the game, one of the songs on Rich's Op is called F the Industry Part 2. And in the song, he pretty much confirms that he doesn't mess with a lot of people in the industry, including Drake, including Lil Yachty. He actually took a shot at Cole.
He did. And
while I'm like, yo, wow, like that's pretty, he should be applauded for being self-made, somebody who can do things solo dolo. But how big could NBA YoungBoy be if he actually was industry, quote unquote? Like, if he's this big now, do you think industry could have actually made him become a bigger artist? Because I don't want people to think everybody's going to look at the NBA YoungBoy route and say, oh, look at how NBA YoungBoy did it. I don't want to be industry either. NBA YoungBoy is a unique situation. NBA YoungBoy could very well be an outlier, right? At the end of the day, I'm not exactly sure that's a route most artists should take. First off, collaborations and features are as big as they've ever been. Every single album these days has 5, 10, 15 people on it. Mm-hmm. Networking, I think, has allowed artists to kind of get put in certain rooms. Like, for instance, there's a dude named Dominic Fike. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I'm very familiar. I love Dominic Fike. He's blowing up. But I just feel like Dominic Fike just started putting himself. He was kind of like NBA YoungBoy, just kind of like just doing his own thing, eclectic. But he started putting himself in rooms, right, where people get to know who he is. He started branching off, and now he's becoming an A-list musician. Okay. So there's that aspect of, the industry actually helps. Is there more pros or cons to being anti-industry?
People sure do love to act like they're independent, don't they? Like, isn't it like a badge of honor? Doesn't it come across like the people who say it, they be bragging like
Russ. Russ brags a lot.
Y'all took the bait. I did it on myself. I was self-made. I'm this, I'm that. And I'm not gonna lie, it sounds great. Mm-hmm. That shit sounds fire.
It does.
Yo, when Russ, when Joe Budden, when all of these people start talking, when Nipsey, all these people talking that self-made, I got it on my own, I grinded, it's motivational. Mm-hmm. It's what I think a lot of people need to hear. Mm-hmm. Because unfortunately, more people, whether they know it or not, they're going to have to put their self on and grind and be self-made until somebody sees an opportunity and they give it to them. So I think it's good messaging. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to act like it's not. However, I do think it's misleading. Because most people who actually achieve success, they do it through collaborations. They do it through their connections. They do it through the industry folks who have other connections who are able to provide resources and opportunities for them to leverage and be more successful. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, right? So that's why I'm like, it's good messaging from somebody like NBA YoungBoy, because your average person who's just getting it on their own, they making music in their bedroom, they need to have that motivation, that grind to be self-sufficient and realize, yo, this is what I need to do to really get myself to a certain level. Mm-hmm. But do not believe for 1 second that you can achieve a particular type of mainstream mega star type success without the industry. it won't be likely in your cards. I'm just being real.
Yeah, I mean,
Like it's just not. And so I hate to bring this up because I'm not trying to compare these dudes. I ain't perpetuating the beef. I just want to give an example. Lil Durk, I would say the polar opposite of what YoungBoy is doing in terms of how he's moving within the quote unquote industry, right? You got YoungBoy in one respect saying, F the industry, I don't rock with y'all. I'm getting it on my own. I'm self-made. I'm self-paid. And on the flip side, Lil Durk is like, hey, Cole, I need you. I want to change my narrative. I need you to create this message. This is a connection that he's leveraging somehow. I don't know how they got in contact. Who knows? But my point is, this is a orchestrated move that to me has industry written all over. Now, I'm not calling Cole industry. I'm not saying Lil Durk is this industry. None of that. I'm just saying that's the type of collaboration, the type of networking that allows you to level up. I mean, is really the point I'm making.
I mean, the thing is funny.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with both routes. I'm just like, there's just this push of being anti-industry is the way to go, right? But then let's think about the hottest, let's say all-time great artist. How many all-time great artists were indie? Anti-industry. How many?
There's a few.
Jay-Z wasn't.
Prince.
Eminem. No, Prince was the first. That was the name that came in my head. Prince. But Jay-Z wasn't.
But he was only, let me be very clear. Apparently, Prince was only anti-industry until it became a problem with how he was profiting off of his money. Then he changed his name, the artist formerly known as Prince, in order to collect royalties that were more suitable for him. That's a business play. You tell me. You said Jay-Z no?
I mean, Jay-Z became a boss, but Jay-Z was in the industry.
Jay-Z's super industry.
Yeah, Jay-Z.
Oh, yeah.
Big Puff. Eminem. Eminem was signed to somebody that was signed to somebody.
Drake.
You know what I'm saying? Kanye.
Kanye, Drake,
everybody.
Super industry.
So it's like being industry has actually breeded some of the greatest, most of the greatest of all time. What NBA YoungBoy is doing right now is unprecedented because he's pretty much doing things completely his own way, which he's proven. I think the most important thing he has proven is not only can he do things his own way, but he's sustaining this type of, approach to making music. Right. Which is impressive. That's the part that impresses me. Because, Russ is doing it too, but Russ doesn't quite have that same buzz. Russ still kind of feels underground, but NBA YoungBoy doesn't feel underground. He actually feels mainstream, but he's sustaining this approach, which is pretty interesting. But, I just thought it was an interesting thing that came to my head. I hear it so much these days. I actually think there might be more cons than pros.
Well, look, I was actually going to say, I want to be very clear, man, because artists who are not actually independent purposefully give off the narrative that they are independent because it boosts the support. It's like a marketing tool.
It does.
I remember when Chance the Rapper was hot, which was, seems like ages at this point. 2017, Chance was like the man. There was a huge debate as to whether or not Chance the Rapper was truly independent or not. I remember this, because I was trying to figure it out. Every time he kept saying, yo, I'm not signed, but it became very clear that saying you're not signed was a little misleading because he wasn't signed to a major label, but he did have major distribution deals that allowed him to get his music out to a different level. So it's like, but it was you playing with words. It's like semantics. You play. It's like you feeding off of the.
It's like you're not under someone.
There you go.
That's people get mistaken the not under someone with I'm not signed to a major label.
Correct.
So, or I'm not. I'm not industry.
But I do think
they're all industry.
There's value to that. But the point is like, yo, the industry label, bro, it's over. It gets overstated. It's not as bad. It's not as toxic. It's not as in my opinion, it's not as
I get.
It's not as bad as people think.
I get emails from NBA YoungBoy from Capitol Records. I get emails saying, yo, NBA YoungBoy just dropped a new album. That to me is industry. Am I not mistaken? Am I something wrong? Like you have a marketing team. You got that. You got this. You got people backing you. Like he has support. So there's a different. He has support from the industry. He has support from the industry.
Facts.
Now, in a perfect world, I would be like, yo, like I got industry support.
Yep.
That's what I want. I just want support from the industry. I don't want to be under somebody. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's just misleading. Yeah. I'll just say that.
I think so. I mean, we can keep it. We can keep pushing. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, do you feel like artists, they play around with these words, whether they indie, of the industry? What do y'all think?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. Let's keep it pushing to the next and last topic. Is drill music dead?
Oh my God.
Or is it fizzled out?
What's up with all this damn complaining? Where's the positive? You got me in this.
It's my fault?
In my day back.
It's my fault?
Yeah, damn it.
Come on, man. Knock it off. What's the last drill song that actually made a splash? What's the last drill? What's the last drill artist that really got the type of mainstream love that was getting all damn near last year? Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I couldn't think. I swear, I sat and thought for like a solid 10 minutes. Like, can't really find one. Then I thought of Ice Spice as well, which kind of led me to this topic. Ice Spice has been really, I would say, the darling of rap. It seems over the last probably 6 to 9 months, damn near year. But even though she is from the Bronx, specifically New York, which is the last city that really had a chokehold, I feel like, on rap when it came to Bronx drill. She came out with her song Munch, which had a drill inspired sound to it. And she dropped the EP recently. And I don't want to say she's getting away from drill, because that's not the case. She still has those elements in her music.
She's fusing it with other sounds,
Correct.
Essentially.
But I think that, like, I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming anybody. I just see drill taking a back seat to this whole sped up, more fast paced
house
type inspired music that you see Uzi with Just Wanna Rock. Bad Bunny just dropped a new song that had that same tempo to it. I'm just not really seeing the drill artists that have been carrying the mantle, whether it's Fabio, recently Chef G and Sleepy Hollow got caught up in a RICO. It almost seems like the drill artists that really were bubbling, I would say, that were damn near on the cusp of taking drill or sustaining what drill was, they are kind of either getting indicted or they're just not dropping music that's reaching, I think, the community and the masses like it was. I'm seeing that. And I'm wondering, is this the end for drill? You tell me.
This is a legit question. Was drill ever really commercial drill? Was commercial drill ever really on? I mean, we look at songs like Munch. Did Munch chart Billboard?
I'm sure.
And if it did,
I'm sure.
Did it ever reach top 10, top 1, top 5? I don't know. This is a question I don't know an answer to. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not trolling. So then we go to Fabio Foreign, right? Great artist, great album. Fabio Foreign probably is the second or third most popular commercial drill, because we have to be specific here.
Of course.
Commercial drill.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Fabio Foreign, I don't think there was a song necessarily by him that has charted top 1, top 5 in Billboard. To Say My Name, but like at the end of the day, it's like that's really kind of pop. But my point being is, was drill ever, commercial drill, was it ever really on? I'm going to make a bad comparison because that's what I do on this show. One of the worst trends in the NBA in the last 5-10 years was that stupid half-court three-point shots. Remember, about 2 years ago, every NBA player thought they can just shoot from half-court. It started out with Curry. Then Damian Lillard started doing it. Then it became a trend of people thinking they could shoot from half-court.
Okay.
If you look up, nobody's doing it these days.
Do you mean at the end of a quarter?
Not the end of a quarter, just like that stupid, like, yo, I'm just going to shoot from half court. That was prevalent in the NBA like 2-3 years ago. It was happening every game,
Okay.
right? But it wasn't prevalent enough to say that this was a mainstay in the league. It wasn't prevalent enough to say that this is a thing. It was happening here and there, but it wasn't prevalent enough, and now it's gone.
Okay.
That's kind of how I feel about drill. Drill had its splashes and here and there, blah, blah, blah. But was it ever considered to be a mainstay in hip hop? We've had flashes in hip hop before. We really have. We have had, like right now, I'm not sure this whole sampling thing is going to last. Was drill just a flash?
I think so. I mean, listen, I think so. I mean, I said it last year when we had this convo. When the joint started, I'm like, I was joking, but I was like, yo, which to me is Bronx.
Drill.
Which to me is Bronx drill. That's when it really got commercial, when they started mixing the sampling in. I said, yo, I think they're going to run out of samples. I think people will get tired of this sound. It just sounds like something that just doesn't have sustainability. I'm not saying I don't like a lot of the music, because yeah, I do. But I can like something, but still not think it has longevity. Personally, nah. Some of it is fire.
You never. Okay.
Some of it's
As
fire.
a whole, did you like drill music? You've always complained about drill music.
It depends. We talking about the super aggressive
As
shit?
a whole.
As a whole, drill's not my favorite. That's not my go-to. I don't go out of my way to listen to drill.
Okay.
However, when they started doing the sampling, I was like, yo, I could get with this.
I like the sampling.
This is good
That's
music.
fire.
It became music,
That's
real
fire.
music to me. It wasn't just
That's
about
fire.
being aggressive. It wasn't just about
That's
shooting
fire.
ops and whatnot. I started to like it. But I also was like, I don't see this sustaining. That's what I mean. I could like some, but still not think it can sustain.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why did it go away? Why did it, quote unquote, die?
And I could be totally wrong here. I think that there was not someone after Pop Smoke who was really capable musically to infuse drill from a mainstream standpoint and really take it to the top.
I agree.
That's my personal opinion. I think Pop Smoke had it. We heard it in some of his music that he dropped after he passed and whatnot. I think he was capable of it. He showed it. He showed that he was more musical. He showed that he could sing and harmonize and be melodic and do things that was way more than just drill, but still keep that element. So he would have, to me, been the one to really take it and teach, I think, the other people who were kind of coming up around him, this is how you do it. I just didn't really see another person who was doing it at his level. And I think that's, in my opinion, that's the true reason why it hasn't, it never really reached its potential. I think it kind of, unfortunately, died off when Pop Smoke was unfortunately killed. I'm gonna be honest. I think it lost a lot of momentum.
Lose momentum.
I really believe that.
I think the reason I think, by the way, a lot of Pop Smoke's most popular songs were not drill. Like For the Night, which is arguably his most mainstream
Lil
commercial
Baby and
song. The Baby.
The Baby.
And that might be his most commercial song, right? And then people like those joints that he does over the Mary J. Blige.
Yep.
and all that stuff, right? But you know the main reason I think
What's up?
hip hop is easily the most popular genre in the world. I think so. I think hip hop is the most popular genre. It's losing its stranglehold.
Definitely
I will say it's losing its
its
stranglehold, but like hip hop is still the most popular genre in the world. But for things to stick and for things to make it to that next level, it needs pop acceptance. Like, think about it. Pop has accepted trap. You hear trap beats infused in a lot of the pop records we hear today. We have pop artists hopping on trap songs and blah, blah, blah. Trap is infused in music. It's never going to go away. You're always going to hear trap elements in everything. Everything. Seriously. You're going to hear it in Bad Bunny. Like, Bad Bunny has picked it up, right? Pop has accepted trap. Pop has accepted R&B. Pop has accepted Afro beats. Pop has accepted reggaeton. Pop never really accepted drill. I'll go even to be more specific. I'll go a step further. I don't think pop artists knew what to do with drill. I'm sure a lot of pop artists, drill beats got to their front door and they were like, hey, Nick Jonas, like, you think you can flip this drill beat? And was probably like, yo, my sound doesn't fit the drill. You know, my swagger is not for drill. I'm gonna pass. it never got accepted by pop.
Okay. I'm listening.
And pop tried. Like for instance, there was a song with Fabio Foreign and
Kid Laroi.
Kid Laroi.
Yep.
I thought that was a pretty much a pop,
Paris to Tokyo?
drill pop song.
Paris to Tokyo.
That's a drill pop song to me. And it just kind of felt, I liked the song, but it still kind of felt like, we're trying to jam it together and it's just not flowing easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I think pop tried, they gave up. Ironically, I'm saying pop, right? Pop tried
and it gave up.
And I think pop has moved on, and now pop is trying to see what they can do with house, the New Jersey house. Because pop, let's be real, pop, everything hip hop does, pop tries to take it, flip it, and make it mainstream. Afro beats, Afro pop, is becoming more popular because pop artists are interested in it. When Ed Sheeran hopped on Peru, what that did for Afro pop, it extended Afro pop's life in America.
Well, but here's the thing.
In other places.
And what's interesting is, to the point you're making, when you say pop artists didn't or don't know what to do over a drill beat, well, guess what? Ed Sheeran knew exactly what to do over an Afro pop song.
And then guess what?
But Ed Sheeran is Ed Sheeran.
But guess what? Ed Sheeran, I'm sure Ed Sheeran will know what to do over a drill beat, but will it sound
100%.
right? But guess what Ed Sheeran did?
Him, yes.
He did the
But for
commercial
most,
Peru.
absolutely not.
He did the commercial Peru, and guess what? Justin Bieber looked at it and said, "Oh, that's how you flip an Afro pop song." Justin Bieber hopped on his own song. Selena Gomez hopped on.
I believe On My Lay.
Yeah.
Whatever that
Stay,
joint
I think it's something like that.
No. It was called like.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. And then Selena Gomez, Calm Down, right? She hopped on that, right?
But do you feel like
they just never?
Do you feel like
that?
Look, I don't want to get too much into the weeds because I do think you're onto something. But what does that say about drill? What does that say about drill music, that the artists, these pop artists, the people who are not just naturally making this type of music, can't figure out a way to make it sound good?
Drill is unorthodox. From the first moment I heard a drill song, I said, it's hard to understand the rhythm. It's hard to figure out like the swagger that I would use for a type of beat like this.
Yo, that joint. I'm
know what I mean?
gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna just keep it real. Let's just call it out. Only people who can really, I mean, you're saying it without saying it. The only people who can make drill music sound good is black people. Let's just keep it a stack. I'm just being real with you. That we haven't seen it. We haven't seen
that
enough
might be
examples of it working. But I'm telling you,
I hate to make
remember
this,
the dude from the UK? The To the Moon song?
Yeah, To the Moon.
Down into the moon. Pull out the tingle, turn up. Bro.
It's just a swagger that only black people,
bro,
I think, can get.
I'm dead ass. I think that's what it is.
Seriously.
I'm serious.
It's seriously. It's only because think about it, like certain artists.
Yo, that's the reason.
It's true. That's the reason, right? And unfortunately, for something to maintain its popularity in the commercial world, it has to be embraced by pop culture.
But more importantly, you're right. But more importantly, and I talk about this a lot. We've talked about this a lot. Is music sounding authentic? Anybody can try a drill beat, but does it sound authentic?
That's the problem.
Can the people who this is not naturally their sound, can they do it decent enough to where the people who are enthusiasts are like, you know what, you're not my favorite, but like, I can get with it.
That's the problem.
That right there is the problem.
Because I just played for you. I just played for you that Bad Bunny song, you know, Where She Goes, right? And he's going ham over a house beat. That to me was groundbreaking. I used the word groundbreaking because if so many Latin artists have now seen that and said, oh, that's how you approach that type of beat. I've always heard that type of beat, but I never knew how to approach it. Bad Bunny has laid down the foundation for Latin artists to now understand how to approach a house beat. No pop artist laid down the foundation on how to approach a drill beat.
I totally agree, and therefore the progress of drill has halted. And I do not believe, until I'm shown otherwise, I always open that door. I do not see it resurrecting. I don't see it going further than it's already gone. I think it's stagnated, bro. I think the joint is kind of flatlined. I'm going to be honest.
We'll see.
Only time will tell.
I
could be wrong. There might be somebody pop out tomorrow, and I'm like, bro,
Justin
damn,
Timberlake
that's fire.
is the only person that can save drill. Let Justin Timberlake come out with a drill song. It's not gonna happen. Like pop,
it won't happen.
White pop
It won't
artists
sound good.
don't know what to do with. There's never gonna be a. Think about it. There's not gonna be a white pop artist, and this is no race thing, no nothing. There's never gonna be a white pop artist that will make drill sound good. It's not gonna happen. It's never. I can't see it. I just can't see it.
Listen, guys.
I can't see it.
Look, hey, don't kill the messengers. Listen,
I can't see it.
If you're an artist out there who makes drill music, you're probably looking at us like, yo, these guys are aliens. They don't know what they're talking about. All I'm going to say is either link us to some songs that we are completely missing out on. Or just congratulations and tell us we're right. I'm just saying.
Only person right now that's keeping drill alive, to me, in my personal opinion, Ice Spice kind of, but it's UK.
Central C.
Central C. Central C. That drill is fire to me, and I can see that drill. Whatever he decides
still got the
to
aura
do,
and the swagger to pull it
whatever
off.
he decides to do,
he's not the case.
He
that
might be the guy,
but he's not. He actually falls into the cases that we're talking about of somebody who does it authentically because that's what they do.
Yeah. But
is he gonna collab with somebody who can? Listen, we'll see.
We'll see.
He is definitely
Ed
holding.
Sheeran can save the day. For
Central
sure.
C is 100%
It's not gonna happen.
holding the torch for drill in 2023 as of today. Tell us in the comments: are we right? Are we wrong? Are we stupid? Are we amazingly
I'm stupid.
smart?
It's just how stupid.
Well, speak for yourself. We reached the end of the episode. Hopefully, you guys stayed to the end. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you rock with this episode. Hit that like button. Share this episode with a friend. We appreciate y'all for pulling up on us and staying this long, man. So
I'm back.
shout out to y'all.
I'm unfired.
Yeah, man.
I'm back.
Shout out to y'all. But as always, if you're giving advice, just make sure it's ill.
Yes, sir.
Bow.